Todd, first of all, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
You're with Mandarin Oriental. Tell me a little bit about Mandarin and your role at Mandarin.
Well, we're a global luxury hotel brand. We have 45 hotels around the world, mostly in Europe and Asia, Middle East. And my role is I'm responsible for global applications, and I've been there for over a decade.
And I think you guys have been a leader in sort of adopting technology and innovation. Tell me a little bit about the company's approach to technology and maybe your approach specifically.
Well, I think, we've got a lot of really smart people, and I'm sure many companies do. But because we've got it, we're at a really good point from a scale standpoint of where we're small enough that we know each other and we interact and we kind of we don't have many silos among the different business units and IT and finance and so forth. We're also large enough and have a great set of guests that we can invest. And so we can actually do things. We can innovate.
I think we've seen a bit of an evolution of how those systems talk to each other. I don't think we've figured it out all the way yet, but in your opinion, have we made some progress in getting those technologies to speak to each other?
We've made some progress. It's interesting because you've got major companies in manufacturing, as an example, in other areas, where you look at the systems, and I've worked in different industries, and you look at the flow of data between the systems, and you can be a global manufacturing company and have less systems than we have in one hotel. We've done a pretty good job from an industry standpoint of starting to kind of tie profiles together and to understand who a guest is and where they've stayed and what they've done. But there's still a lot of integration opportunity going forward. And it's one of the things that I know, one of the things Otelier does a very good job of is at least bring the data together from all these different systems into one place where we can act on that.
It sounds like you've built a culture of data-driven decisions, or at least relying on data to make some of these decisions. Would you agree?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So, there's still an art to that. And I think, and the reason I say no is because we really do believe that it is very important to build, to be data-driven. And so we've done a lot over the last few years, and we're not there yet. We do have a pretty good system, pretty good access to system. One of the things we've never had until recently, though, is a data scientist and people to actually do something more with the data than just create reports. So we're still relatively report-driven, and we want to take advantage of more advanced analytics, and certainly as AI comes out, we do have a good solid base of data now, and we're looking at how to best leverage it.
So I think one of the challenges the industry is facing is labor and wages, obviously rising operational costs, sometimes rising faster than revenues, right? How are you guys looking at that? What are some things we can do to operate more efficiently?
Well, I think there's a few different areas to look at around savings. From a labor standpoint specifically, the first thing is how can you help all the colleagues as they do whatever job they have, how can they do it as efficiently as possible? And so there's systems that help with housekeeping, scheduling, as an example, and reacting in real time as things change. But I think, one of the other areas that's so important is to forecast demand appropriately. So if you forecast demand appropriately and you have the right labor standards and continue to update those standards, then you can schedule based on standards and actually have, the best opportunity to optimize resources.
So Mandarin's beautiful hotels, but they also have beautiful spas and beautiful restaurants and some of them beautiful golf courses. Do you look at it as a hotel company? Because I know you got some people who just come in and use the spa services and don't stay. Or how has that sort of evolved, looking more holistically at the properties and not just at the rooms?
No, it's a great point. It's much more of a brand that is, yes, we have wonderful rooms and we have wonderful other venues, but certainly A guest that is a top guest at one of our restaurants might spend a whole lot more money with us than a hotel guest, because they're coming every week and they're bringing their friends or business associates and so forth, or a spa guest. So no, the local guests are very important. As a matter of fact, over 90% of our revenues in our restaurants comes from local guests.
Makes sense.
And there's some hotels where it's more captive resorts and so forth. But in general, in our hotels, they're really a hotel. It's a restaurant that's in a hotel, not a hotel restaurant.